the United States is done subsidizing the health care of the rest of the world.
President Donald Trump on Tuesday said Pfizer will cut the price of all prescription drugs in the Medicaid program for low-income Americans. It will also sell new prescription drugs at a lower price in exchange for tariff relief. Trump says he expects other drug makers to follow suit. U.S. patients currently pay by far the most for prescription medicines, often nearly 3 times more than in other developed nations. Trump has been pressuring drug makers to lower their prices to what patients pay elsewhere. He made the announcement in the Oval Office with members of his healthcare team and Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla, who announced a $70 billion push on research and development and domestic manufacturing.
We are ready to unleash our investment portfolio in this country. And the President graciously gave us a 3-year grace period that we will not be subject to the 232 tariffs, as long as, of course, we move the products here.
Pfizer will be part of the White House's new direct-to-consumer website for Americans to buy drugs called Trump RX that will launch in 2026.
I don't know, we'll probably have a shutdown.
Ahead of the U.S.'s 15th government shutdown since 1981, President Donald Trump had a warning for congressional Democrats.
We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer hit back.
Well, there it is. Trump admitted himself that he is using Americans as political pawns. He is admitting that he is doing the firing of people if, God forbid, it happens. He's using Americans as pawns, as I said. Democrats do not want a shutdown.
U.S. government funding will cut off at midnight unless Republicans and Democrats in Congress can agree on a deal to temporarily fund federal agencies with Wednesday's start of a new fiscal year. That's looking unlikely, with the two sides at a deadlock. One of the main issues of contention is health benefits. While Democrats want to modify the bill to extend the benefits for millions of Americans that are due to expire at the end of the year, Republicans say they must tackle that issue separately. A White House meeting on Monday between Trump and the leaders of Congress led to no agreement. Federal agencies have started to issue detailed plans that would close offices conducting scientific research, customer service, and other activities not deemed essential, and send thousands of workers home if Congress does not agree on a fix before funding expires.
A suicide bombing killed at least 10 people outside the headquarters of a paramilitary force in the southwestern Pakistani city of Quetta on Tuesday, officials said. Following the bombing, several gunmen stormed the headquarters, triggering a gun battle with the paramilitary, according to televised remarks from Provincial Chief Minister Sarfraz Bhakti. Bhakti said the suicide bomber was driving a pickup truck and security forces killed 4 further attackers. 10 people, including civilians and soldiers, were killed by the attackers. Provincial Health Minister Bakht Kakar told Reuters, and another 33 were injured. He added that paramilitary soldiers were among those killed, although the exact number was not yet known. Quetta is the capital of Restif Balochistan province, which borders Afghanistan and Iran. This mineral-rich region is notable for the Gwadar port, constructed by China as part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. This project is a significant component of President Xi Jinping's Belt and Road Initiative, a $65 billion investment aimed at expanding China's global influence through road, rail and sea connections. In recent months, both militants and separatist insurgents have intensified their attacks in the region. However, no group has claimed responsibility for this latest bombing.
My business was completely destroyed in the fire. You can see my shops over there. They were burned to the ground. Come, I'll show you. All the fabric was lost. We couldn't save a single thing.
There was a flash, then an explosion. I was lucky I wasn't sleeping near the window. Shards of glass started flying everywhere.
It was Monday. Last Monday from 5 o'clock. Then it was everything is closed. No one have contact with the family. There's a big happen. No one don't know about the family. It's closed. You know what happened is there. We don't know nothing.
And it's not right for everyone because the families are very far. Having no news is tiring. It's really so hard for us. Imagine, you have no news from your family. What's happening with you and everyone else?
We're very lucky that we are one of the few state nurseries left in the country.
Fields of small but growing trees and a high-tech greenhouse make up the Webster Forest Nursery based in Washington State, one of the few state-managed nurseries left in the U.S. The nursery manages more than 300 genetically unique types of trees, with seeds gathered from coastal rainforests, alpine wildernesses, and desert valleys.
Past 10 years, we send between 8 and 9 million trees out the gate every year for reforestation.
Keela Binge is the manager of Webster Forest Nursery.
A lot of states used to have their own state nurseries. A lot of them have been closed down into intervening years and decades. We're still here thanks in part to our robust state lands program that we have.
This little-known state operation could soon take on national significance. A recent executive order signed by U.S. President Donald Trump could leave nearly 300 million acres of national forest lands in jeopardy of logging in the future. In the Pacific Northwest, if massive amounts of national forests are logged, DNR could step in to help support the reforestation pipeline in the years afterwards. But that work takes time, up to 2 years before baby trees are able to be planted in forests.
It's challenging. There aren't a lot of forest nurseries. We're a very small niche industry, and it's tough, and most of us work at capacity every single year.
Egusi soup is a staple of Nigerian cuisine, and it might one day be consumed on the moon or on Mars. This culinary dream is closer to reality after melon seeds from which the dish is made orbited the Earth for 7 days and returned earlier this year in August. Nigerian entrepreneur and founder of intelligence company Space in Africa, Kemedeo Neoshin, selected the seeds for the mission. He was in Florida as the seeds took off from NASA's Cape Canaveral Space Center.
It felt surreal, it was like, wow, finally we're doing this, and it meant a lot to me personally.
The mission is to find out how the protein-rich seeds react to conditions in space. University of Florida scientist Professor Wagner Vendrame says future astronauts would need better quality foods than the ultra-processed, freeze-dried meals that are currently space staples.
When you plant a seed in the soil, the roots always go down and the shoots always go up. In space, they lose their reference. So if you have a seed germinate in space, they grow all over the place, and the roots the same thing. So we're figuring out, can the plants adapt to microgravity? And if they can, that will be of value for astronauts for long-term missions, like going to Mars or going back to the moon. Because especially for Mars, which is a long trip, astronauts need to have a good source of nutrients. So having a variety of food crops that they can grow in space, that will be of value to them.
The seeds will now be studied for genetic changes triggered by their time in orbit. Researchers say if they are shown to adapt to the stress of microgravity, they could be more tolerant to environmental stress back on Earth, such as droughts and floods. Neoceans said the choice of seed was motivated not only by the nutritional properties, but also by culture and symbolism.
Everybody in Nigeria eats egusi, and even other people in some West African countries and Africans in the diaspora, this is something they could connect to. So, the idea was something that originates from this part of the world. And personally, I feel like egusi is that seed that tells that story.
The results will be made public in a publication in the next 3 months.